What if the hardest moments in your life, the moments of pain, failure, and adversity, were actually your greatest opportunities? In a world that constantly pushes us to seek comfort and avoid difficulty, this idea sounds radical. We are taught to numb our pain, to distract ourselves from hardship, to find the quickest emotional anesthetic possible. But what if this approach, this relentless pursuit of comfort, is precisely what is making us weaker? The ancient Stoics, from emperors like Marcus Aurelius to slaves like Epictetus, understood a profound truth. Pain is not something to be merely endured. It is a raw material to be transformed. They developed a powerful, battle-tested operating system for the human mind, designed not to eliminate challenges, but to use them as fuel for growth, resilience, and inner peace. Today, we will not just talk about this philosophy. We will give you a practical guide. We will equip you with 3 actionable Stoic techniques to begin the sacred art of turning your pain into your power. The foundational principle of Stoic practice is captured in a single powerful phrase from Emperor Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What does this truly mean? Think of a river flowing towards the sea. If a giant boulder falls into its path, the river does not stop. It does not complain. The water adapts. It flows over the boulder, around it, and through its crevices. Over time, the river's relentless flow even smooths the boulder's sharp edges. The obstacle did not stop the river's journey. It simply became a part of it. The boulder, once an impediment, is now a feature of the river's landscape, a testament to its persistent power. This is how the Stoics viewed every problem. A difficult project, a financial loss, a personal betrayal. These are not roadblocks on your path. They are the path. Each challenge is a custom-designed training ground for a specific virtue. A rude person gives you a chance to practice patience. A failure gives you an opportunity to practice resilience. A loss invites you to practice acceptance. The problem itself contains the very lesson you need to learn. Once you internalize this, you stop seeing life as a series of unfortunate events and start seeing it as a series of meaningful assignments. The first and most crucial tool in your Stoic toolkit is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus stated it simply: some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are our own judgments, our impulses, our desires. In short, everything that is our own doing. Not within our power are our bodies, our possessions, our reputations. In short, everything that is not our own doing. This simple distinction is the key to unlocking immense personal freedom. Most of our anxiety, frustration, and suffering comes from a fundamental error. We waste our energy trying to control what is inherently uncontrollable. Let's apply this with a practical example. Imagine your boss gives you harsh, unfair criticism in front of your colleagues. The old you might react with a storm of emotion. You'd feel anger, humiliation, defensiveness. You might spend the rest of the day replaying their words, fuming about the injustice, and letting it poison your peace. The Stoic practitioner, however, pauses. They apply the dichotomy of control. They ask,
What, in this situation, is truly within my power? You cannot control what your boss said. Those words have already been spoken. You cannot control their opinion of you, nor the opinions of your colleagues. These are external. To struggle against them is like trying to command the tide to stop. What you can control, however, is your response. That is your kingdom. Your internal monologue becomes, okay, the criticism was harsh. That is an external event. I cannot change what was said, but I can choose my next action. Do I lash out and worsen the situation? Do I internalize this and let it ruin my day? Or do I choose to calmly analyze the feedback for any ounce of truth, learn from it, discard the rest, and move forward with my dignity and purpose intact? That choice, in that single moment, is where all your power lies. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the master of your response. That is the beginning of invincibility.
Our modern culture is obsessed with positive thinking. We're told to visualize success and expect the best. Stoicism offers a powerful counter-practice, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This is the practice of actively and deliberately imagining things going wrong. This isn't about being a pessimist. It is a form of psychological vaccination. By exposing yourself to a small, controlled dose of imaginary misfortune, you build immunity to the shock and panic of real-world loss. Let's take the practical example of a student preparing for a crucial final exam. The conventional advice is to visualize an A grade. The Stoic student does this, but they also spend a few minutes each morning doing something else. They calmly imagine failing the test. They visualize the moment they see the poor grade. They think through the consequences, having to retake the class, telling their parents, the feeling of disappointment. The goal is not to create anxiety. The goal is twofold. First, this practice instantly generates a profound sense of gratitude. After contemplating the loss of this opportunity, the student is deeply thankful for the chance they still have to study, for the books in front of them, for the mind that can still learn. Every moment of preparation becomes a gift, not a chore. Second, it strips the event of its terror. By mentally rehearsing the worst-case scenario, they replace fear with a plan. If they did fail, what would they do next? They'd enroll in summer school. They'd get a tutor. Life would go on. Failure is no longer a terrifying monster in the dark. It's just a problem with a set of solutions. This mental preparation makes them more resilient, less fragile, and paradoxically, more likely to perform well, because they are operating from a place of calm preparedness, not fearful desperation. The final technique is perhaps the most transformative. It is the practice of journaling, not as a diary for your emotions, but as a philosophical forge, a place to transform the raw iron of experience into the hardened steel of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius's famous work, Meditations, was never meant for publication. It was his private journal, his tool for self-reflection and philosophical practice. Painful events, when left unexamined, tend to fester. We replay them, we resent them, we are haunted by them.
Journaling is the process of taking control of that narrative. Let's use our final practical example. You've had a painful argument with a close friend. The emotional residue is heavy. That evening, instead of distracting yourself, you sit with your journal. You don't just write, "I'm angry and hurt." You become a scientist of your own experience. You ask specific questions. 1. What objective facts happened? He said this, I did that. 2. What story did I tell myself about these facts? He doesn't respect me. He thinks I'm a fool. 3. Where did my own ego, my own insecurity, or my own expectations play a role in my suffering? And finally, the most important question, what is the lesson here that can make me a better, wiser person tomorrow? Through this process, you are performing a kind of alchemy. You are separating the external event from your internal judgment of it. You are no longer a passive victim of what happened. You become an active student of it. The pain from the argument is no longer just a wound. It is now data. It is a lesson in communication, in friendship, in managing your own triggers. You are quite literally turning pain into wisdom on the page.
The Stoic path is not about eradicating emotion or becoming a stone. It is about developing an unshakable inner core. It's about understanding that the world will always present us with challenges, but that within us lies the power to choose our response. By understanding that the obstacle is the way, by mastering the dichotomy of control, by practicing negative visualization, and by using a journal to convert pain into wisdom, you stop being a leaf blown about by the winds of fortune. You become the mountain, standing firm and unmoved, drawing strength from the very storms that seek to tear you down. Pain is inevitable. Suffering, as the Stoics teach us, is a choice. Choose growth. Choose wisdom. Choose power. If you found value in this ancient wisdom and want to continue building a stronger, more resilient mind, consider subscribing to our channel. We are dedicated to exploring the powerful ideas that help you live a more meaningful life. Click the notification bell so you don't miss our next lesson on your journey to inner strength. Thank you for watching.